So, if you gone to the store recently, you've probably noticed that a lot of traditional foods or snacks that we used to eat are starting to have like a high protein label just slapped on there for marketing beliefs. Now, the reason this is because there was a study that came out along with, the GLP-1s and like Monjaro and all that, like the weight loss drugs, that high protein is the new fitness craze. And it used to be no sugar, it used to be no fats. Now it's just high protein. Um, and earlier, like in history, we can see that a lot of the stuff would follow. Like people would say candy was bad because it had high sugar, but it also had low fat. So people would start eating candy. And then whenever it was no sugar, they started to make artificial sugars. So like diet soda. But now it's high protein. So now you walk into a store and you'll see Pop Tarts protein. You'll see protein ice cream. Even Starbucks, dude. Starbucks of all places, you'll see protein cold foam, which is just unbelievable. I mean, I understand like trying to get a bag, but dude, Starbucks, I mean, it's not bad, but it's just like they're making protein out of anything, right? It doesn't even seem real. And to be honest, it's probably like a bodybuilder's dream to be able to eat all of this food now. Like, I bet Arnold Schwarzenegger was hating having to eat rice, chicken, and broccoli every day, all day, whenever he could have just gone to Starbucks and gotten the freaking caramel frappuccino with protein cold foam. So, what I wanted to get into today was I've noticed a lot of people are starting to go to the gym. I've been going to the gym for about 11 years, or let me correct myself. I've been working out for about 11 years. I probably started going to the gym about 7 years. And when I first went into the gym, it was a bunch of like older people. There was no kids there. There was like nobody I knew from school went to the gym except for like me and maybe like one kid that was there with their mom, and that was pretty much it. And then, a bunch of the elderly or just actual bodybuilders who are like already enhanced on steroids and stuff. But now that I go to the gym, I've noticed that it may be because I'm at a different place now, but it's just nothing but people my age, like college kids. And it's probably because I'm in a college town, but even back home, it's just a bunch of middle schoolers and high schoolers. So I don't want to say I started the trend, but I low-key kind of started the trend of working out. Only if I had taken my nutrition seriously as I did the gym, I would probably like either be a coach right now or just in a better spot physically. So what I wanted to talk about was how to actually get more muscle, because I'm sure everyone has the same goal of just, being able to either hit 225 on bench or, have six packs or, have just veins like lightning bolts shredded. But something that I never really understood about working out until I got maybe like junior, senior year, I think probably whenever Sam Sulek came out, was that your diet is probably the most important part of the gym. And I think the ratio, I mean, people say it's all over, but I like to say it's about 85% eating, 15% working out. And the reason I say that, like, it could be more, it could be less, just depending on your genetics, but, like, for the majority of us, it's just going to be about 85 to 15, or 80 to 20, somewhere around that ballpark. And the reason I say that is because you can annihilate your muscles. You can go till failure. You can do burnouts, circuits. It literally does not matter. But if you don't eat a speck of protein, you're not going to make any gains, right? I mean, you might get a little stronger, but you're not really going to build any muscle. And I don't think that many people realize that. I mean, I think now they do, because now everything's just infiltrated with protein. But back then, not that many people knew. I mean, they knew that a adequate amount of protein would help. They knew that, taking their creatine and water, like hydration, would also help. but not to the point where the literature like suggests how much we actually need to make the maximum amount of growth. So that's what I'm getting into. So to start off, you're gonna take your body weight and you're gonna just, so I'm at 220 pounds. You're gonna take your body weight and then you're just gonna turn that pounds into grams. So 220 pounds goes to 220 grams. Grams of what? Grams of protein. So for me, I eat about 200 to 220, 225 grams of protein a day, just because it is a little more expensive, but like I know how much muscle mass I have. It's about 160 pounds, and I think having more protein is gonna be like your best bet. Like that should be the macro you focus on the most. If you don't hit your macros, like you don't have to hit your carbs, you don't have to hit your fat, but at least try to hit your protein. That's the most important thing to take away from this whole video. So second up is what all these macronutrients actually like attribute to, just your gains in general. So your protein obviously is your muscle. Your carbs are going to be your energy. So if you don't eat carbs, you're not going to have any energy. So keto, it's not the worst thing in the world, but you're just going to be burnt out if you don't eat any. And you're probably not going to be able to have that much stimuli to go off of. So you won't really be able to work out that much if you're on keto. And then your fat is or your fats like olive oil, omega-3s, omega-6, those are going to help you with your hormones. So your estrogen, your testosterone, which is like the most anabolic, steroid that we have in our body to build muscle. If you don't eat fat, you won't have testosterone, which means you won't be able to make muscle. So don't just go on a diet because someone says to. You got to read like what all these different attributes equate to. So make sure to eat your fat, make sure to eat your carbs, make sure to eat your protein, and also drink enough water. At least 4 bottles a day. That's minimum. And I say water, it could really be, if it's really that hard for you, you could do diet soda, right? And it might help you like lose more fat just because you're not drinking a full soda, which is going to kill you, because I think like it's like 70 grams per soda. So like half of that is just going to be sugar anyways and not really water. So go for diet. It's going to be like a really minuscule amount of sweetener they put in there to make it sweet, and then the flavors and stuff, but it's really not that bad. It gets a bad rep because of health critics just like to say everything's going to kill you when it really doesn't. So now that we got that out of the way, let's go into what not to do. So I think the only thing that I could tell you to not do is to not drink alcohol. And the reason I say this is because alcohol, specifically alcohol in general, is like one of the only things that inhibit your muscle growth. And they also block you from burning fat. So, you could be in a calorie deficit and you could still drink maybe 1 or 2 beers in a calorie deficit. You're still not going to gain that much muscle as much as you would without drinking it. And you're not going to burn as much fat as you would without drinking it. So just avoid that entirely. It's not going to do you any pleasure, any service. I think there's that one guy, Shansborough, and he drinks like all the time, but he's also on like 6 grams a year. So unless you're doing steroids, which I also don't recommend you do, just don't drink, dude. Just don't drink in general. You're gonna kill yourself at like the age of 32. So I guess another thing to help you out is to find your maintenance. So there's plenty of calculators out there. Go and look for one called a EER, which is a estimated energy requirement calculator, and it's gonna ask you for your height, your weight, your age, and how active you are. And people use this in meal plans to determine like how many calories they're supposed to eat in a day and hit their macros, you don't have to worry about the macros, dude. Just literally just 1 gram per pound of body weight. But if you want to gain muscle and not gain fat, you do plus 500 calories. If you want to lose fat and not lose muscle, you do minus 500 calories. The best recommendation I can give you is to not go over 750 max. Like, that should be the max that you either succeed or deseed, if that's even a word. But anything over that is going to be counterintuitive, and it's not going to get you your goals as fast as you want. So just stick with 500 to 750 calories. I guess we're going to go over some myths real quick, just so you actually know like what's true and what's not true. They say if you eat over 30 grams of protein in one sitting or in 1 hour, you're not going to absorb all that protein. That's not true. Your body doesn't just digest 30 grams and it cuts off and it's like, nah, I'm not using this. It's going to use up to about 100 grams of protein. So you could drink like 3 protein shakes in 1 hour and you'd be fine. Or like 3 scoops of protein and a glass of milk or something, and you'd be chilling. It's just going to take a little bit more time to digest it, but you're still going to be able to utilize it all. And this brings me to the second topic, and that is that there's an anabolic window. There's no such thing as that. It doesn't matter. You don't have to hit your protein 20 minutes after your workout or in between those 20 minutes. As long as you eat your protein, you'll be fine. So that brings us to the 15% of the video, the working out portion. So what we're going to do is when you first go into the gym, you're going to want to warm up, right? You're going to want to do some stretches, really put some blood flow into those muscles. So I like to do about 50 to maybe 100 reps of just super lightweight, you know. I'll do I don't know what they're called, but it's like your elbow is 90 degrees, and then you just raise it up, and then, you know, lift it down, up. And I do that quite a couple times, and then I'm just ready to go hit chest. You know, for legs, it could just be doing body weight squats, and if that's still too much for you, then use assisted, like hold on to the wall or a pole or something while you do them, and that'll really warm up your legs. And the reason I say warm up is I didn't do this for like the first couple years of working out, and I still feel it. My lower back, I will be like in so much pain just because I didn't warm up and, you know, kind of stretch out and let that muscle get used to it. You know, I would just put 275 on the deadlift bar and go, and that probably was not the best thing. So you're definitely going to warm up with some lightweight, high reps, and then once you feel like you're pumped up, then you'll go into your workout. So you want to go till failure. There's a couple different variations of people where they say train till failure, or stimulate, don't annihilate, or, you know, they like Tom Platz. You obliterate your legs, like, or you can't even walk, and then you wait 2 weeks to go work out again. Any of these methods, like whatever suits your schedule the most and makes it more enjoyable to you, will be the best thing for you, because the main thing is consistency. You can't just work out for a month and expect to keep that muscle year round, you know, mainly because it's not going to be that much muscle. But you want to at least go 15 reps, like make sure that you don't have another one left in your tank. That's probably the best piece of advice I can give you for training. And then after you hit a set, wait about 2 to 3 minutes of rest and then hit another set. You don't have to hit failure on every set either. As long as you do it like two out of like the 10 to 15 sets that you do, that'll be good. Or what I like to do is 1 per workout at the beginning of each new workout that I do. So when I go bench, I'll do burnout or failure, and then I'll do like maybe 5 reps, and then another 5 reps. Then I'll go to dumbbell bench press. I'll do failure, and then 6 to 8 reps, and then another maybe 10 reps or something. But yeah, so another thing I can tell you is to never count your reps. unless you're trying to track it for like a competition or a meet or something, don't ever count your reps because you're going to limit yourself completely and you definitely will have a lot more. So just don't ever count your reps. That's also a big piece of advice. Um, and then to maximize your gains, you want to have cardio right afterwards. So that's going to be either biking, jogging, walking, even voice crack, dude. Even walking will help if you do it for like at least 15 to 20 minutes right after your workout, just so your blood flow will continue to keep going and it'll deliver more oxygen, more nutrients to your cells than if you just hopped in your car and left. Alright? So that's pretty much it for working out. There's a couple splits that you can look up. You can look up the chest, back, leg, which I think is push pull leg. You can do the bro split. You can do, I think the bro split is like arms and shoulders, and then back and chest, and then legs and abs. So those are two different variations you can do if you want. And if you want to have a rest day, you can. It's not really mandatory or necessary. I would also suggest, if you're trying to lose weight, to just keep cardio on your rest day too. So that way, you're still able to burn some more calories. Maybe do longer than 20 minutes on your rest days. Maybe like 45 to an hour if you can. That's just going to help you see more results faster. So now that we finished the working out portion, we're going to go back into nutrition. But it's not going to be over like what to eat. It's actually going to be over what supplements to take if you're trying to take it a little bit more seriously. So research has shown that taking at least 5 grams of creatine a day improves muscle mass, mental clarity, and strength performance. So those 3 things, like, it's also the most researched supplement in all of supplements, like probably more than food, to be honest. It's just creatine. And they say you can take about 15 to 20 grams, and that's just going to help with your cognitive function. But you really don't have to do it, just because it does get pretty expensive, unless you go on like bulk supplements or something. The second one is going to be ashwagandha, and this is also a pretty popular one. It's going to help with your sleep. It's going to help raise your testosterone a little bit. And it's going to help with your strength. It'll help with your libido. And I think there's one more I might be missing. But you get the idea. It's pretty good for you. It's going to help you, really maximize your gains the natural way. So just think of it as like almost a testosterone, which is like a plant-based testosterone. It's going to be really beneficial towards you. Just don't take it in the morning because it does kind of make you a little sleepy. So take it at night and it'll improve your sleep cycle. And better sleep means better recovery, which means more muscle, which means your body just functions better throughout the whole day. Another one I would suggest is L-citrulline. It's just going to help your blood flow, and it's going to help open up your veins and your blood vessels to where it delivers more nutrients faster. So if you don't take pre-workout, you could take L-citrulline, and then another one would be beta-alanine, which is it's like a stimulant, but it doesn't affect your heart rate. It really just gives you the tingles. It's like like a cue, like a physical cue to go work out. And it doesn't go away until you work out, which is the beauty of it. So it's really popular in pre-workouts, and if you don't want to take any pre-workout at all, there is one thing you could take, and that would be a B-complex vitamin. And I've been a caffeine junkie for like 10 years of my life, and I started really young, like 12 years old, started drinking energy drinks. And I can tell you that the energy that I had from my first energy drink compared to this specific supplement, it was like, it didn't even compare. And this supplement is just a B-complex vitamin. It's going to have B1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 9, 12. And all of those are just going to do natural energy for you. It's not stimulant either. So if you really want to maximize it and you don't want to take pre-workout, then I would take, a B complex, beta-alanine, citrulline, and creatine doesn't help you like at all in the gym. You just have to make sure you drink water. I mean, I'm sorry, it does help you in the gym, but it just doesn't help you like immediately. It's not like a fast acting. It's just a prolonged thing that'll help give you better results. So with that out of the way, if you are also looking to like increase your metabolism, two good things would be caffeine and nicotine. Now I wouldn't take both at the same time just because they're going to kind of mess with your heart a bit, but if you take one or the other, you're good. That's going to boost your metabolism by about 8 to 10%, and it's going to give you the upper edge compared to any other supplement you could take. They're also one of the most researched ones, and I do consider caffeine to be better than nicotine because nicotine lowers your blood or constricts your blood vessels, where caffeine dilates them. So it's going to be more nutrients, more oxygen, just like the L-citrulline. And one more fact before we go is there's also this thing called the thermic effect of food. It's not really talked about that much because a lot of people don't really care or want to hear the science about it. But if you do, then you can stay. If not, then I hope you enjoyed the video. But basically, the thermic effect of food tells you how much energy it takes to digest a specific macronutrient. So for fats, it's going to be about 0 to like 3%, which means that you're not burning any calories to digest that fat. You're just straight absorbing it the whole way through. With carbs, it's about 5 to like 8 to 10%, which is a little bit better. And then the big one is protein, which can go all the way up to 30%. And that's just because you have all these amino acids that your body is trying to figure out what to do with. And it takes energy for your body to figure out how to utilize all these different amino acids, because protein isn't just one amino acid. It's about 20 of them. And, they all have different functions. They utilize different parts of your body to do different processes. But, if you see collagen, it's not bad, but don't get fooled by the amount of protein it has when it says collagen is in there, because it's an incomplete protein, so it's not going to give you as much benefits as just some steak or a Slim Jim or something like that. So yeah, I hope you like this video. Maybe you'll like some of the other ones. I know the microphone, the audio is a little crummy right now. That is because it's a snowball mic, and I'm trying to find something better, but this is what we have to deal with for right now, and hopefully this gameplay is something better. If you like it, then let me know. If you don't, let me know what I could change, what I could fix, because I'm still starting out and I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm just talking into a black screen. So yeah, hope you liked it, and stay tuned. Peace.